Alright, so today is going to be the first of many Catalogue d'Oiseau episodes. So if you're not aware, Catalogue d'Oiseau is a series of piano pieces by French composer Olivier Messiaen. I have books 1 through 7, I think that's the whole thing, and they're all separate PDFs, so I'm gonna do one um, book per day for a bit here. And yeah, they sort of range in size. Like some of them are upwards of half an hour long. So it's kind of hard to listen to them all in one go. Yeah, let's just jump into it here. So we got, I guess every one of these scores is going to have a title page with a program note and then a list of all the books and then a list of all the birds. Yeah, all the birds that are featured. So Messiaen's famous for like transcribing bird song. He would I think I've gone over this on other episodes on the channel already, but he would go into the south of France and transcribe what birds were singing, and then he'd sort of set it to different instruments. This is like the most famous use of it, and it's like all piano settings. You can see the way that each book is broken up. It has like a few birds. So book 1, for example, has the Le Chocard des Alpes, Le Loriod, the Oriole, and Le Merle Bleu, the bluebird. I forgot to mention this is actually a 1958 piece, and Messiaen started doing this birdsong stuff around 1951. Um, what's the piece like? The Morning of the Birds. Um, is it's like an orchestra piece with piano. It's sort of like the big first birdsong piece he did. That's like I think that's 1951. So this is the Alpine Cough, I guess you would call it, or Co. I'm not sure. It looks like a blackbird, kind of. God damn, this is frustrating. Okay, that's the first movement of book 1. The Oriole, I think, is a yellow bird, a bright yellow bird, and yeah, I think the Eurasian one looks like this. Um, this is the bird that Messiaen associates with the dedicatee of this piece, Yvonne Loriod, I think is how you pronounce her last name. Her last name sounds like the name of this bird, and she's Messiaen's second wife. And this is a very pretty bird, so obviously he, you know, uses the bird as a way to refer to her as sort of like a pet name. Um, and just know that that's sort of like symbolic of her in the piece. It's no coincidence that it's in book 1 of the whole series. And then we have what would the bluebird be? Probably this kind of bluebird. If I can see it. Yeah. So yeah, those are the 3 birds in this book. Also, Messiaen would set like in Catalogue d'Oiseau, he also sets like different bird song that are in the environment, right? So these are not just like 3 plain transcriptions. They're made musical by their interaction with other birds in the surrounding area. Sometimes birds will like copy one another's songs. I don't know if these 3 birds do that, but like you can have one bird that is singing the bird song of many other birds, like, but it's all stuff that Messiaen himself observed in nature. I think that's kind of the point I'm trying to make. Yeah, go to that other episode if you want to learn more about his birdsong stuff. I'm gonna spend more of this episode talking about Yvonne because this is a piece for her and it's a solo piano piece. And we've had this sort of trend in the piano series where if I'm not going over the composer's bio, I'm going over the bio of some pianist that the piece is dedicated to. So no better opportunity than here. So Yvonne Louise Georgette Loriod Messiaen was born in 1924 and died in 2010. She was a French pianist, teacher, and composer, and Olivier Messiaen's second wife. Her sister was an Ons Martineau player. She has some compositions here. I don't know if this is all of them, but if it interests you, she has a piece for orchestra called Pièce sur la souffrance, a piece for Ons Martineau piano and flute called Mélopée africaine, and then a piece for soprano and chamber orchestra called Grains de la Cendre. I'm sorry if I butchered any of those titles. And she's most famous for like playing a lot of Messiaen's birdsong pieces as a soloist. Um, she recorded the Catalogue d'Oiseaux. She was a part of I guess she played the piano part in the Turangalila Symphony in this other recording. And yeah, I wish there was more about her than just this tiny little bio. But yeah, she studied at the Paris Conservatoire and was one of Messiaen's students, later becoming his wife. I think Messiaen's first wife was dealing with some mental health issues towards the end of her life, and like it was a very long and drawn out health complication that led to his first wife's death. So he was sort of like starting to become more interested in nature and I don't know, dealing with depression or something at around this time. And his love for birdsong kind of coincided with this love he was developing for one of his pupils. I guess um, Yvonne would have been one of his composition students, maybe a theory student as well. Okay, interestingly, she orchestrated part of Messiaen's final orchestra work, Concert de Quatre, um, and she premiered Bartók's second piano concerto in 45, notably learning it in only 8 days. So very virtuosic, accomplished pianist. Messiaen's music is not easy, as we will see. Yeah, I remember reading a little bit about Messiaen's bio, and I think his marriage to Yvonne was like a little bit controversial, not that controversial at the time, but there's definitely an age gap, and it's a little bit weird. But Messiaen was already a very sort of like accomplished, accepted member of society, and everyone sort of like he was very eccentric um, to begin with, so everyone sort of just like accepted this marriage, even though it like somewhat overlapped with the time when his first wife was still alive and institutionalized. I think that's a little bit more controversial than the age gap, to be honest. Um, at least like historically it would have been. In order of appearance, these are all the birds in the entire series. So the golden eagle, short-toed lark, skylark, woodlark, white and yellow wagtails, Setti's warbler, rock bunting, yellowhammer, ortolan bunting, corn reed buntings, buzzard, quail, goldfinch, redshank, alpine cough, which is in this movement, the jackdaw, the little and tawny owls, the crested and thekla larks, raven, carrion crow, curlew, starling, pheasant, kestrel, whitethroat, garden warbler, spectacled warbler, Orphean warbler, blackcap coot, herring gull, and common gull, the little ringed plover, both the missel and song thrushes, the guillemot, the bittern, the long-eared and eagle owls, the swallow, the sand martin, the oyster catcher, the hoopoe, the melodious warbler and grasshopper warbler, the golden oriole, which is in this movement, in this book, movement 2, the swift, the kingfisher, the blue rock thrush, the blackbird, the regular rock thrush, the great tit, the black-headed gull, the sedge warbler, the green woodpecker, the red-backed shrike, the chaffinch and the chiff-chaff, and the moorhen and the water rail, and the corncrake and the nightingale and the robin and the redstart, the black redstart, the reed warbler, and the great reed warbler, and the little tern and the sandwich tern, the turnstone, the black wheatear, the black-eared wheatear, and the wren. So I believe these are alphabetical in French, but that's them in English. So yeah, it's a big piece. I mean, this is like coming up on 3 hours of music, I would imagine. I hope you enjoy listening to this piece for the first time and hearing how accurate and also like strange and psychedelic Messiaen's birdsong transcriptions are. If this is your first time listening to them, I'm happy to bring that to you. And as always, a link to the recording is in the video description. I'll see you in half an hour in this case and let you know what I think. Okay, nice. So this is a good start to the cycle. I think I get what Messiaen is trying to do with a lot of moments in these three pieces. I think I'm really missing a lot of context because I can't read French, so I haven't been reading the synopses. It's clearly there's like some sort of drama going on, and you have to be able to keep track of all these different characters, the different birds that are acting in it. I'm not really doing that, so I'm not really giving the piece a chance. I'm just kind of listening to how it sounds, and I think the second movement is by far the most interesting, just like sonically. Where's the second movement here? It had a lot of melodies which I recognized from Réveil des Oiseaux, um, and a lot of like sort of star players from that, like the Rouge Gorge, the Troglodyte, the Merle Noir, Grieve Musician, Fauvette Desjardins. Play a big role in that piece too. So I recognized a lot of the melodies and it was pretty enjoyable. I also like how he has this very simple, like, consonant idea that's very clearly non-bird song, breaking it up. So you get a bit of a back and forth, like, what's going to be the next bird? And then here's the bird, kind of thing. That I found pretty, like, palatable. Whereas, like, in the first movement, you have these long stretches of music which are not really a bird at all. Um, but it's not really clear from listening to it because there's no difference in the harmonies. Like it's always these very dissonant modal harmonies, regardless of if it's a bird or a setting, or just, in the first movement. So I found that was a little bit harder to follow, and I didn't really, because I wasn't as familiar with the bird song in question, I didn't really find it that easy to grasp what was going on. And a lot of pauses. I didn't really like that. I don't think it served the piece well to have all these huge silences in the very first movement that you hear. Um, so yeah, first movement could have been like 4 minutes long instead of 10 minutes long. Second movement was great. Third movement was also a little bit bloated, but I liked the consonants in the like Merle Blue melody. So like the protagonist in this one actually does have a very unique sounding harmonic world that's separate from all the other birds. And I think that works in the movement's favor. It'll be interesting to compare these to other movements as we work our way through. I don't know how well I'm going to be able to remember all of them because it's a lot. Like there's a lot of different birds in each piece. It's kind of an interesting problem that Messiaen has set up for himself, where like the bird songs themselves are non-developmental, like they're not really musical in the way that Messiaen's music is musical, so he's trying to find like solutions to like show off the birdsong, but also have some sort of musical like some sort of narrative. Um, and it's all on one instrument, I think is the biggest problem. So, yeah, that's book one. I guess I'll just look at book two tomorrow, which is a bit, I think it's a 15-minute one instead, and it's just a single bird. Yeah, there you go. This is what was going on in France in the late 1950s. Uh, yeah.